friends.
Hello.
Again, today I'm with teacher
Aaron.
from
Sheffield, England.
Sheffield, England. Together today we have a very fruitful content, a very useful content to help you to nail your IELTS speaking and IELTS writing as well. Guess what it is about?
We will be talking about
Other ways to
synonyms or other ways to say for example.
Yeah, so stop using for example. So let's
Get the ball rolling.
get the ball rolling. Right, so number one, very easy. Most student knows already. It is for instance. So instead of saying for example, we say for instance, right? Easy. Example?
For instance, I have 3 cats.
Right, okay. The next one, this is for instance, you can use for both writing and speaking. The next one I use a lot, like I say, imagine. Imagine you were at the bus stop. What would you do now?
I would get on the bus, I think.
It was first. Right, so that is imagine. So remember, imagine we only use for speaking, not for writing, because it's informal. Next is like.
Like.
English people really love the word like.
Again, they only say it in speaking. Don't use it in formal writing. Only say in speaking.
Example.
And yeah, we use it the same way as we use for example. So, I enjoy playing football like 3 times a week.
Right. Or I love tropical fruits like mango, jackfruit, durian, you name it.
Yeah.
Right, the next one is including.
So this, same again, starts what you're about to say.
Right.
It starts a list usually. And I would say, I like playing sports, including football, climbing, badminton.
You can use including for both writing and speaking. Right, the next one is say.
Say.
Very
So
informal.
we can say the word say to think of examples. So, say you're walking down the street.
Right.
It's raining.
Right.
Do you buy an umbrella or do you not?
Could be.
Yeah.
Right, the next one is such as. I'm sure you heard of that already. Pronunciation is a little bit confusing. So we say such. Such as. Very strong.
Very strong.
Right, yes, easy. The next one is let's say. I think it's the same idea we say already, so very easy.
Again, very informal.
Again, very informal. Right, we also have to name but a few. I love that one. Aaron.
This is a great one, quite a formal one. And again, it means the same as for example.
Yes, yeah. Okay. Example, please.
I like Vietnamese food. I like Vietnamese food. To name but a few, bún chả, phở,
bánh,
nem lụi. Bánh mì.
Nem lụi.
Yeah.
Nem lụi, guys. Yeah, so funny. Right, the next one is examples include. Examples include. Yeah, examples include. Like, there are so many adventurous sports. Examples include scuba diving, skydiving.
Climbing.
Yeah. Climbing is not adventurous.
Yeah.
Yeah, climbing. Rock mountain.
Yeah, rock climbing, yeah.
The next one I use a lot in my IELTS writing book, bingo. I say a typical example is, or you can say a concrete example is, like very strong, very firm. Or like Aaron just told me, a fundamental example is. What is fundamental?
So fundamental, it's similar to concrete. In this sense. Like, it doesn't mean the same, but when it... So a fundamental example and a concrete example, they both mean very strong. However, fundamental, it means early.
Also basic.
Yeah, basic, exactly.
Basic. Yeah, so let's say there are a lot of historical sites that attract millions of tourists all year round. And a typical example is Bath in England.
Very good. In the south of England.
Right. Okay, try to use that. And you can use that for both writing and speaking. Very high mark for writing. Right, the next one is...
Evidently.
Evidently. I love that one.
So,
really formal, very formal.
Very formal, very good. It's how you would start a sentence usually. You would usually use it at the start of a sentence or after a comma.
After a comma, yes. At the beginning of the sentence, after the comma. For
So
example.
beginning of the sentence or after a comma.
Right.
Yeah.
Example.
I caught my brother with cookie crumbs all over his mouth. With dirt, with cookie all over his mouth. Evidently, he'd been eating cookies.
Mm.
Do you want a
He's
different
thinking.
example?
I know. I understood
Okay.
your example. He's give a very
Specific.
daily in life. In a formal context, you can say, "Well, the number of obese people are on the rise. Evidently, in the UK, we witness millions of people whatsoever.
Yeah.
So, like, evidently,
So to give evidence.
to give
You use it
evidence.
to give evidence.
Yeah. The next one is to illustrate. What is that?
So to illustrate, it's similar to imagine. No, it's not. Sorry.
No.
To illustrate is to. I think fruit is good for you.
Right.
To illustrate this, I will show you what fruit does to a person and what not eating fruit does to a person.
Right. Yeah.
So
to
illustrate this idea, I will show you this and this.
Yeah. To illustrate this idea. To
illustrate is to draw.
Yeah.
So
to illustrate this viewpoint.
to paint a picture.
Or to illustrate this perspective.
Exactly. Yeah.
So very formal. You can use for both writing and speaking. Or you can say by way of illustration. I think I rarely use that for speaking because it's too formal. So by way of illustration only for writing. For example.
By way of illustration, I will now demonstrate how Vietnam is the greatest country in the world.
Wow, thank you so much. That's why
If only it was true.
How dare you? Right. The next one is you guys. He just mentioned to name but a few, but we also have namely. This one is C1 level, very high band. You can use for both writing and speaking. Also for writing, in order to emphasize or to highlight or to be more specific in what you are trying to say. So it's the same idea with specifically or particularly. Right, Aaron, example.
So I will use the example for particularly. So I will say, I like to eat pasta, particularly spaghetti bolognese.
So a more formal example here, we see on the Cambridge Dictionary, they say, we need to get more teachers into the classroom where they are most needed, namely in high poverty areas. So very, very high band for writing. I really love that. So guys, try to use that. The next one, we have a case in point. I love that one. A case in point is...
Oh, it just means an example.
Yeah, so a case in point, yes, the same with for example, and it means like you want to add extra information. So like you say, let's say you say something about the crime rate. It has become a great topic of concern. And they say a case in point is that the number of crime waves in Vietnam is increasing now. So that is a case in point, especially in my động area, for example, right? Okay. Yeah. So
again, this is very formal.
Very formal. No, actually, you can. Yeah, very formal. You will see it more in writing,
of course,
not for speaking. Right. That is a case in point. The next one, very informal. We say to give you an idea. To give you an idea means.
So it's the same as when we said before, say or imagine. It again just paints a picture.
Right.
So
the overall picture.
yeah. So to give you an idea, I'm 23 years old. Do I look 20? You know, something like that.
Fishing for compliments.
No.
To give you an idea, Aaron is from England and he's full of sarcastic.
Full of sarcasm.
Sarcasm.
Yeah.
Sarcasm. Right. The last one is suppose that or supposedly. Right? Yeah. Means like you give an...
You are setting
you
up
suppose.
a scenario.
You're setting the scenario, right?
Setting the scene, yeah.
Setting the scene. So also the same with for example. So see, so many ways that you can use instead of saying for example. Number 1, for instance. Number 2,
I like.
3,
including.
4, let's say 5.
In a similar case.
Oh, we forgot in a similar case. We forgot this one. What is that?
So in a similar case means it's very similar to similarly.
Similarly.
Which if you talk about, so for example, I like to play football. Similarly, I like to play tennis.
Mm.
So you use it to
Similarly.
connect. You have to mention something before and after, but it's somewhat for example.
Right, so that is number 5. Now 6.
One example is...
One example is 6.
Same again. One such example is...
7. A fundamental example is. Number 8. A typical example is. Number 9. A concrete example is. Number 10.
Evidently.
Evidently.
Such as.
Such as.
Say, for example.
For example.
Imagine.
Imagine.
To give you an idea.
To give you an idea.
A case in point is.
A case in point is.
Suppose that.
Suppose that.
And namely.
Namely, particularly, and specifically. So many ways. What's your favorite? Just pick one.
Probably specifically.
Specifically. I love the word imagine. Imagine. Imagine.
Makes you think.
Imagine makes you think. Right, guys. Stop using for example and try to diversify your lexical resource. And that's how you pass the exam with
Teacher Aaron and
Charlotte. With flying colors. That's what I mean. With flying colors.
Okay.
Yeah. You forgot the idiom. Pass the exam with flying colors. Give us a thumbs up as always and stay tuned for the next fruitful episode. Bye for now. Bye. Okay, so the first one we have for example, right? And then for instance. And then English support. You guys say like a lot, like tropical fruits, like banana, mango, whatever.
So yeah, it's used in the same.
Including.
Yeah.
Including. Such as.
Such as.
Say. Imagine. Say you were at the bus stop. Imagine.
Often you would say, for example, you were at the bus stop. But
Say.
you can say.
Yeah, most say, for example.
I have to think about that. You put it in.
An epitome example of this is epitomize.
I know what. I know. Yeah, I know, but I've never heard it used that way.
Really?
An epitome example.
Let's say.
The epitome. No, I don't understand that.
Examples include.
Yeah, let's say examples include. Yeah, I'm just not sure.
In a similar case.
Yeah.
You have to think on your feet. So let's see how Teacher Aaron nailed the test, and then you guys can learn a lot of vocabulary from it. Okay, so are you ready?
Of course, okay. I think.
Right, so let's talk about fish and fishing today. So is fishing popular in your country?
Yes, fishing is popular in my country, especially in Liverpool, where I went to university. There are a lot of Liverpudlians who enjoy to fish.